Well, my goodness, everyone. It is Friday, August 14th, and we are so glad to have you with us today. Our last show at 1 p.m., Courtney.
I know. Clutch your pearls, Derek Shore. I can't. Can you even believe it?
I forgot to wear my pearls today, but
just
no,
pretend.
I can't believe it. 1 p.m. has been the Houston Life time slot since the show started. August 22nd of 2016 was our premiere show, and here we are 4 years later, moving to 3 p.m.
It's so crazy, and you must really have sort of like this roller coaster of thoughts and remembering and all of that, you know, from the beginning, right? Where it all started with the humble beginnings, if you will.
Very humble beginnings in the mall. And one of the things that I did love about the mall, we had a lot of challenges there, right? I mean, you could
What do you mean?
Do you remember all the kids who would fall down the escalators? I mean, we'd be in the middle of the live show. People, even though there's a giant sign that says, do not take your stroller on the escalator, people do it all the time. And then they're shocked when their kids tumble down the escalator.
You remember that one? It was like a newborn baby or something.
Awful.
It was awful.
It was
and it
horrible.
went basically front over back, the stroller down the escalator right in front of us.
We actually had certificates printed up for Parent of the Year, and we would hand them out every time a child fell down. It was bad times. We shouldn't be laughing about this. We had a lot of challenges there in the mall. You could do a lot of things in a mall, right? You could, I don't know, do brain surgery. You could do
surgery.
Open heart surgery. You could do a television show. I don't know. You could open up a clogging school on the escalators. There are a lot of things you could do, but you shouldn't. But we tried it for a couple of years.
And you know what? It was fun, though. And I will tell you, the best part about that was you could, like, knock out a couple errands if you needed to. You could, if you had a stain on a shirt or a quick return upstairs, Derek Shore.
There were times when I had to run to H&M to buy something. You somehow finagled the mall discount.
I got the mall discount for lunch.
I never did.
I know. I was like, I work in the mall.
What was the discount?
It was a mall discount somewhere.
Was it 15% maybe?
Yes, 15%.
10%, 15%, something, I don't know. I never got it.
Listen, I used it daily. They didn't even ask me after a while. They knew I worked in the mall. It was great. And the other thing was E-Bar, right next door, right outside of Nordstrom. We got our coffee fix. It was that was a major adjustment for us coming back here because I said, where's our coffee bar?
Where's our coffee bar?
What is happening?
Well, I was drinking so much coffee back then, and we love our E-Bar friends. Jeanette is still there.
Yes.
Ed is still there. Bianca. I actually went back to Nordstrom a couple months ago and saw them, and it was so great to catch up. And honestly, the people in the mall, those are the things that I really miss. And the fans of Houston Life. There were folks, some of you out there watching now, who from the very beginning were just so nice, and you overlooked so many weird things. Like, wow, this is weird, but we're going to support it anyway. And we had people who thought that our show was like performance art or something.
Remember the guy that came up on the stage, like walked up and took some of our samples
He
of
was
our
like,
food
oh,
in the middle
samples in the middle of a cooking segment.
I totally mama beared him, like with the mom voice.
This is not Costco, and those are not samples.
Right. We're doing a show.
We're doing a show.
It was a little bit like we were at the zoo, like we were an exhibit at the zoo, because people would walk by, you know, if you're and they would...
They're like, what's social distancing,
like,
social distancing, stay away.
Do you know what I mean? It was the funniest thing watching people walk by, you know? Oh my gosh, and all of the bands that came, bless their hearts, and thank you for doing that, really, thank you. Remember Goat Yoga with the goat running around in the first floor of the Galleria?
So we would have this meeting before the show, and we would just sit at the cafe tables like, here we are, making our notes for the show. So this particular day, we knew that we were having Rachel from Goat Yoga, right, on the show. And during our meeting, all of a sudden, we hear this, meh, meh, and all these goats running through the mall, leaving little
goat
whoppers behind, little goat poopies.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, our then boss was like, they can't be running about like this. These goats can't be running loose. I'm like, girl, we're doing a show in the mall. What do you expect? Like,
Yeah.
where are the goats supposed to go?
Oh, my word.
I know. There were some interesting things. We could write a book about all the weird things that happened in the mall. But again, the people who would come by and either watch the live show or wait until the show was done just so we could chat or say hi during a commercial break. We miss you guys and we think about you guys. My mom still asks about, there were these 4 little girls who would come to the mall, and one of them was Blair with a B. Do you remember Blair with a B? And their mom would come by. We're Instagram friends now, but we think about you guys, and we hope you're doing well. And thank you for sticking with us as we're about to begin our 5th season of Houston Life.
Unbelievable. But we're in store for some really great things at 3 p.m. And, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's still us. Still the same show. Still me not knowing people's names. Eating out of the trash. Whatever. Shelby? Did we ever get an update on Shelby? How is she?
Shelby? I don't know Shelby, okay? The one thing that I will miss about this time slot, though, is 1 p.m. we fall right at lunchtime for a lot of people, or a later lunch if you know, depending on where you're working or spending time at home. And I do feel sad that we're not going to be able to spend our lunch hour with so many people who tell us that they watch the show in the break room or cafeteria at work.
Right, or you've, you know, moved your schedule to make sure that you have your lunch. Grandma Bobby has sent me, and she's a friend of the show, she has sent me many photos of her lunch with her crystal wine glass with the TV right there. So here's the thing, we know that you guys spent your lunch with us, and we love that and we appreciate it. So just move it now to like a happy hour, right? 3
Just
p.m.
start eating breakfast at 11 a.m. and then you can have lunch at 3.
Yes, perfect.
That's pretty much what we do anyway.
Or it could be like a little appetizer. You know.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Some people will record the show too, which I think is great. We hear from a lot of you that you will record the show currently at 1 p.m. and then watch it either at dinner time or after the kids go to bed.
Because we're that kind of show. No, they can focus, you know, the kids need to do their thing and you can really spend your time.
We do once in a while get voicemails, angry messages from people who are like, you were disgusting. What if my child had been in the room? I'm like, I'm sorry. We don't mean to be disgusting, do we?
No, I mean, not usually.
I can't help it. I can't help it. I was born this way, right? But really, the 1 p.m. hour, we will miss you all. And being live at 1 p.m. has been just such a pleasure for the past few years. We hope that you will join us live at 3 p.m. And we do have a few surprises, a few updates. This set is getting a little bit of a makeover. So a couple days from now, on Monday, when our new season premieres on the 17th at 3 p.m., you'll see a few changes, but nothing major, right?
Yeah, just a little, you know, uplifting, you know, some new changes, right?
Everyone needs a makeover once in a while.
That's where the word I'm
even
trying
a
to come up
television
with.
set, right? I'm feeling like I could use a little bit of a makeover too.
Why?
I don't know. I might go blonde or something.
Frosted tips.
Platinum blonde. What if I went platinum for a little while?
Oh, I love it. I
That's
wish
kind
I
of
could.
a trend.
You know that Reface app that we've been doing and all of the blonde, you know, I'm kind of digging it because it lets me see all these different hair colors on me.
Why don't you have Cecilia give you a different hair color?
Maybe.
Cecilia, maybe I'll come see you and go a little blonde.
I'd
like to have more fun for a while.
I love it. Okay, guys, coming up, you know, listen to this. After a challenging year, Houston-based band The Sufferers is back in the spotlight with brand new music.
And we love them so much. The group, they are known for their soulful music and high-energy performances, and their loyal fan base, Courtney, it does reach far beyond Houston. Lead singer Cam Franklin caught us up on some of their road bumps over the past year, and of course, their brand new single, Take Me to the Good Times.
Hi, Cam. It's great to see you.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Good to see you all as well.
You look great, girl. And let's talk about what life has been like. I know this last year has been super tough for you guys. And, of course, then you add in COVID, not touring. But bring everybody up to speed.
Yeah, when you add in COVID and not touring, we lost 2 of our founding members last year. They decided to spend more time at home and focus more on themselves. And we replaced our bass player with a new member named Juliet Terrell. And we're so grateful to have her. But, you know, through everything we went through, including having $40,000 worth of gear stolen last year, we persevered because that's what we do. And now we're back with new music and hopefully just an overall new vibe that uplifts people. I know things are very strange right now in the world between everything that's happening, this racial revolution that we're going through. But the thing is that however you're getting through this, however your form of protest, you have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And I hope that we can help assist with that by just spreading positive messages of love and joy and survival.
And Cam, obviously we know you're an optimist. We love watching you perform. I can't wait to see you on stage live performing again, hopefully in the not too distant future. But talk to us just about your artistic process, because they always say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And when you are performing out there on stage, doesn't the hard times, I mean, don't the hard times sort of make you not only appreciate the good times, but does it make your work better?
I would definitely say that. I have grown to really appreciate every challenge, every milestone, everything that we have to push through, because it's almost as if all of those lessons come back later on. And every time it's time for us to combat it that second time, you know, I feel prepared. I feel equipped because of what we've gone through together. You know, the Suffers turned 9 years this year. Wow. And as an independent band with so many members in it, with so many different personalities, you know, you don't really see that anywhere. You don't see that camaraderie. You don't see that love. You don't see that level of diversity coming from a group where we're in this together. You know, when you see the folks on stage, you know, it's the same faces from the beginning for the most part. And we share this experience together, and that allows us to keep going together. We're so grateful for the fact that we're still here, because we know that there are so many bands that have tried and failed. We know that COVID is going to have an extreme effect on artists and their artistry in different ways. For me, it's actually allowed me to thrive as far as getting these creative ideas out that I necessarily wouldn't have been able to get out in a timely way because of being on the road. This environment that I'm in behind me is the second installment of an art installation that I've built called the Sequin Sanctuary. This is actually my bedroom, but I've transformed it into a music venue because I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not going on tour anytime soon. I'm not gonna perform in a music venue in the way that I want to for members of the general public for a long time, because, you know, COVID is out there and people aren't safe, and I want to make sure that we aren't contributing to that where we can. And so I've created this alternate universe in my own space to allow me to continue performing online. We just wrapped up 15 weeks of live stream shows for free on Facebook and Instagram to keep folks uplifted. But we're about to go into a paid platform here in the next few weeks, and we're planning to launch a Patreon page that will allow folks to not only see new versions of our live stream performances, but have access to music, unreleased music. We're wrapping up our third record this week from afar, so this is going to be a different process for us because we're so used to recording together. But
well, honestly, Ken, it's the new normal, right? And I'm so glad that you were able to provide that platform, that free platform for us during quarantine. But at the end of the day, y'all need to make a living, and we need to support that because we love the Sufferers. We love the 8-piece Houston-based soul and funk and R&B sound. And now we've got the new single.
We do have the new single, so we're going to take a moment to listen to it. Cam Franklin with a brand new Sufferers track, Take Me to the Good Times. Here it is.
Thanks.
I just gotta get out, most days you see. I like walking around, it's good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. I just gotta get out, most days you see. I like walking around, it's good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. Summer's in Brooklyn. see. And walking around is good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. I just gotta get out most days, you see. And walking around is good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. Trying to hang like a local. Could you tell me where to go? Stick a coin in the jukebox at the hole in the wall. Grab some Harold's in Chicago. I'ma pass that map, my lord, and take a recommendation for a good crab ball. When the sun comes out in Portland, I'm talking Oregon and Maine. I might stick around until the fellas color change. I just gotta get out most days, you see. And walking around is good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. I just gotta get out most days, you see. And walking around is good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. Trying to see my people. I've come to see my people. I'm trying to see my people. I need to see my people. Could you tell me where we eat? Where we greeting? Send us in for where we meeting. Who's cooking? Who's baking? Give me the key. Or who's screaming? Who's scheming? Please tell me where we meeting, where we greeting. Send a pin or where we meeting. Who's cooking? Who's cleaning? Get to see or who's screaming? Who's scheming? Please. I just gotta get out most days, you see. And like walking around is good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. I just gotta get out most days, you see. And like walking around is good for me. Could you tell me where we could go? Take me to the good times. Take me to the good times. Take me to the good times. Take me back to New York City. Take me back to LA. Take me back to Paris, y'all. Take me back to Mexico City. Take me back to London, everybody. Take me back to Accra. Take me back to Chicago. Take me home to Houston, Texas. Take me back to Miami. Take me back to Washington, D.C. Take me back to New Orleans. Take me back to San Francisco. Take me back to Little Rock. Take me to Las Vegas. Take me back to Tokyo. Take me back to Nashville. Take me back to Toronto. Take me back to Seattle. Take me back to Take me to the good times. Available everywhere. Streaming everywhere. Feel good every day. Thank y'all.
I mean, I want to be your neighbor.
I want to
okay?
borrow that outfit.
I know. Okay, did you call it the glitter room? Is that the room?
Oh man, so that installment of the room was called the Sequin Sanctuary.
Love it. And I love
I'm in the process of rebuilding it. This is just the beginning of what
it looks amazing, and the assortment
Thank
of the
you.
boots in the background, because you don't have to just play country music to appreciate the boots, y'all.
Absolutely not. Boots are a part of Texan culture, all Texan culture.
Cam, that was really great to see that and experience that just now, because it really is, I don't know, incredible to see how we just got a full-on concert just now. You have evolved and you have made this work, and that setup there you've created at home, it's working.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know it's tough for all the creatives out here to figure it out, but you know, we got to just push through and figure it out. So,
and you're going to be doing the paid platform live streaming, and that's going to start when, Cam?
Here in the next 2 weeks, we're going to switch over to Patreon, and we'll have a formal launch. But if folks want to keep up with us, we just encourage them to go to thesuppers.com and just follow us on everything.
It's fantastic. It's feel-good music. I love Take Me to the Good Times, an appropriate message right now. We appreciate you and can't wait to see you in person, and stay healthy.
Thank you, and thank y'all for everything you're doing. Y'all encourage us here at home, and I just love the constant showcasing of Houston everything.
Oh, that is so sweet. I was serious about borrowing that outfit, by the way, Cam, so I'll call you later.
We'll get it. We'll get you a copy. That shirt's by Toby Nwigwe, but we'll figure out the rest of it.
Okay, perfect.
I love it.
so much fun. We have shared a link on our website if you would like to connect with the sufferers.
And still ahead on today's show, a local family-owned daiquiri shop with a backstory that's almost as wild as their drink flavors.
But first, are you feeling stressed out? The local spot where you can release some tension and have a smashing, oh wow, good time. That's next. Well, so far, 2020 has turned out to be a real winner, hasn't it, Courtney?
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm giving it? 2 thumbs down, 2020.
And if you've been feeling, I don't know, a little stressed out like we've been, we've got a solution for you.
Yeah, let's go smash some.
Well, that was fun. You feel better?
I feel much better.
Yeah,
My work
me
is
too.
done here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back. If you'd like to shake things up this weekend, here's something cool for you to try. Daiquiris To Go specializes in frozen cocktails to help you get the party started at home.
Well, the local family-owned shop is run by a mother, daughter, and son team with a startup story that's just as unique as their drink flavors.
I'm Juanita Jackson, and I am the owner and general manager of Daiquiris To Go.
And I'm Taylor Barner, and I'm the co-owner and operations manager.
I'm CJ Barner, and I'm the assistant manager.
We come up with crazy, different things. We're always trying.
A lot of our drinks are hand blended, so kind of like craft daiquiris.
We're always working together to create the next thing.
Well, I had the fortunate time to be on a Houston reality show. I was the creator, producer, and a cast member of Sisters-in-Law. I'm Juanita. I am a criminal defense attorney. I'm a public defender for Harris County. It was just great timing because she had just moved here from Los Angeles.
Yeah, I just came back on the heels of the TV show, kind of thinking that there would be a second season. I'm gonna be back home with the family. And while I was here, unfortunately got into a horrible car accident the day after Christmas, and basically had trouble walking for a few months. And when I was here, I was just like, well, I don't know what's next. And my mom's show, unfortunately, was canceled. So she was like, I don't know what's next.
I had proceeds from that as being a producer. And during the time, I think the daiquiri craze in Houston just started to take off. I had gone to a little local place near my home, and probably a few times a week, we started enjoying these daiquiris to go. And from that, I thought, this is cool. This is a cool business.
I was like, well, I'm here now. I'm not really going anywhere anytime soon. So, hey, I can help, and let's do it.
And it was perfect timing because at the time, CJ was in college at Houston Baptist University.
I was like definitely focused on being like pro athlete, but when this opportunity popped up, like I was game because I love one kind of drinking and I love spending time with my family. And then it's like perfect because it's like literally right across the freeway from the school. So like the friends who come over who were able to drink and come visit me, so it was perfect.
You know what? Life hands you lemons. We made daiquiris.
Right.
I think it was a testament to our resiliency. Luckily, you know, I have my family here and we had each other to be able to do it step by step together. When it first started, I know my mom was like, oh my God, we have to shut down. And we did for one day, but we also realized that as long as we kept safety protocols and made sure all of our staff and customers were safe, that we'd be able to tap into a niche market. It's been very important to us to be able to keep ourselves safe and keep our customers safe.
So very blessed that my daughter is a musical genius and very, very popular. She's actually an international DJ, has traveled around the world. And when we first started out, we would do these amazing parking lot parties that hundreds and hundreds of people and our customers would look forward to them. But now that things have changed, she's been so smart and figured out how to take it live and stream.
I got a green screen, lighting, and decided to just start live streaming DJ sets. Something that people could tune into, just feel good. Sip your daiquiri, come by, grab it, and tune in when you get home.
So we just want to get back to the way things were before. We love being the neighborhood daiquiri shop, and we love being creative and one of the best daiquiri shops in Houston, and we're very proud of it. It's been wonderful.
I love the family story.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And you can tell they all get along,
Yes.
which I think plays a role in their business's success.
I think we need to stop by. Get one, right? We need to. If you want to cool down or turn up this weekend, head to our website for more information.
And we did try their daiquiris when that story originally aired, and they were good, nice and strong, just the way we like them. All right, still ahead, from Clements High School to becoming a rising talent in the film world, we'll meet Sugar Land native Angela Cheng, who's also a film writer.
But first, it's Finance Friday. We have 5 tips to help you diversify your investment portfolio when we come back.
It is truly an interesting time to be an investor, and our next guest wants to help us make the best decisions to keep our finances as diversified as possible.
Certified financial planner and president of Shakiba Capital, Trevor Shakiba, has 5 tips to help. Hey, Trevor, happy Friday. Okay, well, let's talk about this, making sure that we really are diversified, and let's just jump right in. How do we do that?
Yeah, so that's the question, and I really did a part 1 last week. I had so many comments and so many people reach out to me. I thought, let's do a part 2 and go a little bit deeper. And I think the first thing that you have to ask after everything that's happened in 2020 is what happened? Because right now, the market is actually flat from January 1. A lot of people would be shocked by that. A couple of days ago, represented by the S&P 500, it was positive year to date. But just look back and ask, did my portfolio go straight down with the market and straight back up? Was it less volatile? Because if it wasn't less volatile, meaning if the market was down 40% and you were down 40% instead of being down 20 or 15, you're really not diversified.
Interesting. Another indicator that someone might not be diversified, Trevor, is you want us to really analyze how we responded this spring in March and April. If we panicked, if we ran out to buy gold and ammunition and all of these things that people do, could that indicate a problem?
Yeah, that's a big problem, because that's the biggest mistake most people make, is they let emotion dictate what decisions they make with their investments. So look, everything hit the fan back in March and April. It was crazy. Trust me, very volatile, unprecedented. So like you said, did you panic? Did you sell everything? Did you lose sleep? And if you did those things, you're probably not diversified enough. And so that's my point there, is pause and look back and see how you reacted, not just your investment portfolio, but how did you do?
And let's talk about the risk portion of this. And this is really interesting, because you talk about this in risk tolerance by saying, are you comfortable with the amount of risk that you had?
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of people, they'll recognize they checked off a few boxes when they went to their new job to figure out what their risk tolerance was. but we don't spend enough time talking about this. Just checking off a few boxes and saying, hey, I'm moderately aggressive is probably not thinking about it enough. Because again, if you just went through March and April and you were down 30%, the market was down 35%, and then you panicked, you don't have the right risk tolerance. It's not aligned. So my recommendation here is to think a little bit more deeply. Look at the worst case, look at the best case, look at what's most likely, but you have to be comfortable with what that best case scenario could be so you're not panicking when it happens.
And Trevor, COVID aside, I mean, the drama of the last few months aside, typically during an election year, we see a lot of weirdness and volatility in the market. So what's your message if someone is thinking, I don't know, maybe it's time to reallocate right now? What advice do you have for them?
Well, I think that's a great point, and now is the time to do it because we went down so quickly. We're basically back where we were January 1. Now's the time to really consider those things and potentially reallocate. And my point here is that we're not out of the woods. 2020 is not over. We still have an election coming up. Tensions with China might be escalating. So be careful. Don't think that we're completely out of the woods, and make sure, take the time now to all the viewers to get your allocation and risk tolerance aligned with your investment portfolio.
These are all such great tips. Let's talk about this next one, because you say don't forget about alternative asset classes. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so my point here is that you don't want all of your investments just to go up with the market, down with the market. Basically, wherever the market goes, that's where your account balance is going. You need other types of investments that can provide downside protection and reduce your risk. So those would be things outside the market, like gold, like precious metals, like real estate, that are going to provide that type of diversification. So, if you're just going up and down with the market, you're not really diversified. So think through that. We talked about this last week. Get a second or third opinion and make sure you're prepared now for the rest of 2020 and beyond.
Trevor, we've got less than a minute left, but I know that some of our viewers are maybe aggressive investors. I would guess that most of our viewers are not, right? That this is almost like speaking another language for them. Maybe some people have a 401k that's just sort of like sitting there. So before we let you go today, what's just one thing that each one of us can do to strategize and ensure we're making sound decisions in the market?
Well, I think you need to look at your mix and make sure that you don't just have 4 or 5 mutual funds. You think you're diversified, but they're all equities or stocks, or they're all small cap. You're not diversified, and you're way too aggressive than maybe what you should be. And the other point that I make here, Derek, is that where are you at in your timeline of what you're trying to achieve? If you're 1 year away from retirement and you're 100% in equities, we've got a big problem, because something like 3-4 months ago could happen. So I would just recommend, if you're not comfortable, find a certified financial planner, reach out, get a second or third opinion, and let them guide you to get that right balance.
And they can save you a boatload in the long run. Trevor, thank you so much.
You bet. Go Stros.
Go Stros. Have a great weekend. And in the meantime, if you would like to connect with Trevor, you can visit ShakeepaCapital.com.
And don't forget to check out our Houston Life YouTube page. There you're going to find segment clips, behind-the-scene videos, and much more. You can subscribe by searching Houston Life under the channel page. Make sure and do that. Show us some love. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The action-packed dark comedy, Lucky Grandma, is a brand new film getting rave reviews, and it has ties to Houston.
It's got a great rating on Rotten Tomatoes. One of the co-writers of the film is a Sugar Land native. Her name is Cheng, and her career is just taking off. Lucky Grandma, we're going to learn more about the film in just a moment, but let's talk about how someone like yourself, how do you go from Sugar Land to working on the big screen? It's really exciting.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I basically went to film school in 2002, and I'd always wanted to make movies. I'd always dreamed about it, and I just kind of made my way in, moved to New York to try to make indie films, and here I am.
And here you are. Okay, so let's chat a little bit more about your history. Went to Clements High School, and you used to perform Chinese stand-up comedy as a child here in Houston.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Because that seems like, stand-up is an exceptionally difficult skill. So how did you start doing that as a kid?
Yeah, so that was actually, it was Mandarin Chinese stand-up comedy, so everything was in Mandarin. I started performing when I was 5, and it was actually my mom's idea. She's kind of a stage mom, and wanted me to be able to speak fluent Chinese and English on stage, and so she wrote the scripts. She would book me, and our audience was the kind of burgeoning Taiwanese immigrant community. And so I think it was enormous comfort for them to see a little kid on stage be able to speak English with like a Texas twang, and be able to break back and forth from like Texas twang to Mandarin Chinese. So I'm not sure it was all that funny, but I think it was really entertaining because I was like a little kid.
And this led you to create a short film called 10 and 2 about a Chinese American housewife who essentially she learned how to drive so she could leave her husband.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wasn't totally it wasn't like a one-to-one connection from Mandarin Chinese stand-up comedy to the short film, but I grew up in a really tight-knit Chinese community, and you know, so much of my storytelling comes from that Chinese community, and this short film was really based on a story of an auntie who had learned that her husband was cheating on her and then figured out how to drive so that she could actually confront him with it. So yeah.
Telling real stories about real people seems to be something that you have such a knack for. And we've said so many times here on the show, it's a popular saying that truth is stranger than fiction, right? That what happens in our lives becomes such inspiration for the art world. So talk to us about how Lucky Grandma unfolded, and tell us a little bit about this story. I haven't seen the film yet. I can't wait, but I understand it's about a chain-smoking grandma.
Yeah. So Lucky Grandma is about an 80-year-old ornery, superstitious grandma who lives in Chinatown, Manhattan. And she's told by the fortune teller that she has like a lucky day ahead of her, and that she should really keep her eyes open. So she goes to, taking advantage of this lucky day, she goes to the casino, she gambles, and spoiler alert, she sort of loses all the money. But then she finds a bag of money on the bus ride home and realizes that this must be her lucky day. But then lo and behold, she takes the money home, and the next day she is visited by the local Chinese mafia. So yeah, it's a dark comedy.
Oh, wow. Surprise. The mafia's at the front door. And let's talk a little bit about how the film's success, I mean, really sort of blew up. 96% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That is huge. The film has also been recently named one of the best films of 2020 by Vulture and IndieWire magazine. Those are pretty major kudos. How does that feel?
It feels great. I mean, we're really, really proud. We weren't sure what to expect because of COVID, but there's been such a community of independent theaters that really wanted to still keep watching movies alive. And so Lucky Grandma is part of the virtual cinemas release during these like unprecedented times. And people have been able to enjoy watching the movie in the comforts of their living room. And so we count ourselves as very lucky, but also very proud that it's finally out there for the audience to see.
Yeah, and we can pre-order the movie right now on iTunes. It premieres next month, August 4th. And one thing I think is really cool that you're doing, part of the proceeds from the film will go to support some of these art house movie theaters who have really, really been struggling during COVID.
Yes, that's right. So you can actually watch virtually right now if you go to a place like Alamo Drafthouse on demand and search for Lucky Grandma. You can actually rent the movie right now, and those proceeds does help places, art house cinemas like Alamo Drafthouse. And then on iTunes, if you pre-order right now, those proceeds actually go to help an organization called Welcome to Chinatown, which supports Chinatown in New York City because it was hit especially hard by COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's so many of my friends have been posting things on their social media pages just about the ridiculously unfair backlash that the Chinese and Asian American community have been experiencing during COVID. But you know what? There are a lot more good people in the world than there are horrible. I try to focus on that. We're almost out of time, just about 30 seconds left, but I understand in addition to working on podcasts for TED Talks and short films, you're developing a screenplay about real estate in Houston.
That's actually just one of the projects that I'm working on, but my dad is an architect and who's been working in Houston for years, and so I have a particular interest in real estate and property development. I think that doesn't sound that sexy for a screenplay, but it is about a con artist. So.
Okay, we're looking forward to seeing that. Angela, thank you so much for your time. She is one to watch for sure. And a reminder that Angela Cheng's film Lucky Grandma is now available to rent or buy on iTunes.
After the break, a local family with a unique summer staycation idea. See how they decided to make the most of their time in quarantine. That's coming up next. Okay, here's a question for you. Are you still bummed about canceling that family summer trip? Of course you are. But here's a fun idea. Two local parents came up with a unique staycation that their family could cherish for years.
Yeah, you might not have ever seen anything quite like this. Clint and Lindsay Stuckey created their very own backyard jungle cruise and captured it all on video to share a little joy and inspiration to other families in quarantine.
Welcome aboard the world-famous Jungle Cruise. I am Captain Colin, and I'll be your skipper, guide, and social director for the next 3 months.
We wanted something that would just like bond the kids and something creative for the kids to do where they could learn besides just like routine schoolwork where you sit in a desk. We wanted something creative. We were actually in Washington, D.C. with the kids when this all happened. And so we saw it firsthand from life being pretty normal to life going to completely into the twilight zone.
We were looking out the National Monument at the White House, and I said, I think there's a big group of people out on the lawn just right outside the White House. And that was actually when the first White House briefing took place. As soon as we got home, like she said, it was everything was different.
Like, even though I felt overwhelmed at home, there were so many other outside obligations that we didn't have. And so I kind of wanted to have them remember this as being like a positive thing rather than them remembering this experience of doing schoolwork and mom yelling at them to clean their rooms.
And she came up with the idea, and I said, all right, well, you plan it all out and I'll put it all together.
He knows me that I never do anything small. Everything is on like a big grand scale.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world-famous Jungle Cruise. Before our cruise begins, I want to remind all adventurers and adventurettes that no horseplay is allowed.
We shot it all on the iPhone and edited it all on Final Cut. That's been a hobby of mine for 10 or 12 years. Now it came into what it is.
Yeah, it was a group effort for sure. But I remember filming it, and I remember sitting in the water, iPhone in my right hand, and literally pushing the boat with my left hand, and the wind would direct the boat every which way. And we were telling the kids, okay, move the house.
Move them all to the right side of the pool. It was all hands on deck to try to get a shot. Let's just say there's a lot of blooper reels and outtakes.
My best man is Sydney. My cruise title was the girl who said selfie. Selfie! Selfie! Selfie!
And this little guy right here was Trader Sam.
Hey, Keaton, can you say I was Trader Sam's?
I was Keith.
You're
That was Keaton, okay.
My favorite part was probably seeing Trader Sam, aka my little brother, yelling and stuff. It was really cute. And also, I love the fact that we actually all did that, and I was relieved when we were finally done. It's hard at first, but it's worth it at the end. At first, like, Mom, really? Why, Mom? Why? It like 100 views, and after like an hour, it was like 500. So I'm like, oh, wow.
think we all learned from this experience, and I thought it taught us to be a little more closer together and a little more appreciative for the things that we have.
Okay, this is part of the adventure. There we go.
I think they did such a great job, right?
And you can tell how much work they put into that. Very
ton
cool.
of work. And that was awesome.
It was awesome. We'll be right back. Well, thanks for joining us today here, our last show at 1 p.m., Courtney.
I know. Can you believe that this chapter is ending?
No, I feel like we really dropped the ball. The fact that we're not popping a bottle of champagne right now to toast all of our beloved lunchtime 1 p.m. viewers.
I know. Well, maybe this Monday when we are on at 3 p.m., that's a perfect time to pop another bottle, right?
I think so too. I think so too. And I know at the top of today's show we mentioned that we have some surprises for you, including a little set update. But I feel like at some point we're going to have to break the news that there's a new member of our Houston Life family.
There is a new member. Absolutely.
This is a really big deal, and we are so excited to not only see our viewership growing, but to see our Houston Life family growing.
I know. It's an exciting time for us. We hope that you join us at 3 p.m.
We do. Thanks for being part of our family here at 1, and we will see you on Monday at 3. Bye-bye.